The Gospel of Gold by G.S. Lewis. Chapter 13, Jinichi's Resolution.
Scyther is unable to battle! Onyx wins! The challenger, Jinichi, stands victorious!
A referee, standing at the center floor of the Azalea Gym, raised his flag in the air. On one side of the battlefield, Leader Bugsy recalled his fallen champion back to its Pokeball, while on the other, 3 trainers cheered and danced in a circle.
You did it, Jinichi!
Laughed Gold delightedly.
I knew you could!
Your Onyx was amazing! Agreed Marina. Thanks, Jinichi replied with a modest flush of red.
Hey, 2 fights down and just 1 to go, huh? Are you ready, Gold?
You know it, Gold replied with a grin.
You're going to use Quilava, right?
Marina asked, her hands clasped together with anticipation.
Actually,
Gold rolled a green apricorn ball onto his palm and let it spin for a moment on top of his finger.
I think Bugsy expects that, so I've prepared a secret weapon.
As Gold stepped up to the trainer's box on his side, Bugsy hailed him with a wave.
That's a friend ball, isn't it?
The gym leader called cheerfully.
Custom made by our own Kurt. I heard from him how, when he injured himself, you stepped up and drove those awful rockets out of town.
He raised a Pokeball in his hand.
Come, show me how you did it. You may be the hero, but I'm not going to go easy on you.
Gold nodded, his face set in sudden concentration. The referee signaled to both trainers.
This will be a one-on-one match between Gym Leader Bugsy and the challenger, he announced. Both trainers must release their Pokémon at the same time. Ready? Begin!
In simultaneous flashes of light, Bugsy and Gold's choice Pokémon appeared on the battlefield. A Beedrill hovered on invisibly fast wings, while across from it, a 4-winged bat materialized. Bugsy whistled in amazement.
Wow! It's only the second gym, and you already have a Crobat? I know it's possible, but I've never seen it done.
I push the limits, replied Gold, smiling proudly.
That's how I beat all of Team Rocket, and that's how I'm going to beat the Johto Pokemon League.
A new power is rising, he thought, as Crobat and Beedrill rushed each other. One day, I will be the world's strongest Pokemon trainer. Someone was shaking him. Gold opened his eyes blearily, then winced at the sudden wave of pain that surged through his head. His vision swam, then slowly came into focus on Marina's face. She was looking worriedly at him, and he felt her hand on his back, holding him up in sitting position.
Are you okay? She asked. What were you doing sleeping out here?
Sleeping? What? Gold dimly looked around him. He was at the base of the steps of Kurt's cottage, sitting on the side of the road. The sun was up halfway on the horizon, bathing Azalea Town in morning light, but still casting long shadows. He sat up straighter and rubbed his eyes. The Azalea Gym battle, it seemed, had been just a dream. Still, it had been so lucid that he was having some difficulty re-establishing himself in the reality of his life. I don't own a Quilava or a Crobat, he remembered, and I'm not trying to become a Pokemon master. I am Gold, the healer and seed planter. Marina waved her hand in front of his face, snapping Gold out of his trance.
Where's Jinichi?
He asked suddenly, looking at her.
He isn't back, but he's okay,
she responded, taking his wrist and giving it a pull.
Get up already! The ground is dirty!
Gold rose to his feet with her help and passed a hand over his eyes, still fighting off the dream. He looked back at Marina to see that she was still watching him with concern and slight disgust.
Look at you!
You're all dirty, she remarked, pulling at his shirt sleeve. When was your last bath anyway? He couldn't answer. It had been days at least. Marina blew out a sigh through her lips before turning and calling into the cottage.
Mr. Kurt, I found him. Is there a bathhouse in this town or a truck stop with showers or something?
I've got a wash tub out back, came Kurt's voice in response. It's a little old world, but with help, I can have it filled and heated in 10 minutes. Marina looked back at Gold, with her arms crossed firmly. Come on then, mister. We'll talk later. Gold slumped his shoulders and nodded. Answers, it seemed, would have to wait. The bath was unbelievably refreshing and wholesome to the spirit. As soon as Gold had lowered himself in, he felt the therapeutic effects of the pleasant heat wash over him, clearing his mind of all things. He did not forget the events of the night, but the burdensome weight of their memory seemed to lift off the steam of the water. For a few minutes, he decompressed by himself, enjoying the simple pleasures of life. Presently, he heard footsteps approach from the other side of the privacy screen, and Marina's familiar voice called to him.
Hey, it's me. I'm going to drape your towel over the wall, okay?
Okay.
How's the water? Not too hot?
Nah, it's good. Gold saw the white towel flop over the top of the screen, and Marina's fingers adjust the folds out of it.
You know, Kurt wanted to handle this,
she continued with a nervous laugh.
Since I'm a girl and all. But I promise not to peek, and anyway, we have things to talk about.
Gold scratched his head. I agree, but I could have waited until breakfast to share news.
That's what I was thinking too, but...
There was a pause on Marina's side of the screen.
I just received a message from Jinichi on my Pokegear. It's the second one he sent this morning, and it's pretty cryptic.
There was uneasiness in her tone again.
That's why I wanted to talk now.
At this, Gold leaned closer to the screen, his curiosity piqued.
Well?
He asked anxiously.
What did he write? Not so fast,
Marina replied.
Tell me first what you were doing on the ground outside of Kurt's house.
Gold groaned inwardly. Marina was keeping information hostage from him, which would force him to admit that he had attempted to stalk after Jinichi a second time. With reluctance, he quickly recounted the previous night's incident, including the confrontation with Silver in Kammen's body. He left out the dream about the three of them battling Bugsy, since it seemed irrelevant and, as he thought about it now, vainglorious.
So, to sum up,
Marina reflected,
Silver Kammen said he wanted a truce, only to jump you and knock you out?
Gold shrugged before remembering that Marina couldn't see him. Maybe he was just stalling to get close enough. But then again, he called out to me beforehand when he could have just sneaked up from behind. He paused and looked at the screen where he thought Marina must be sitting on the other side.
So, you still believe me then? I mean, doesn't this stuff weird you out? Of course it weirds me out, replied Marina with force. I told you that yesterday.
Her voice dropped to a whisper that sounded almost shy in Gold's ears.
But, well, you show a sort of earnestness in everything you do, and I can't deny the miracles I saw.
She was quiet for a moment.
Jinichi and I had a bit of a falling out last night, she recalled in her low voice. Until now, we've gotten along pretty well with each other. Then yesterday, while you were healing Pokemon and talking about the Johto League turning evil, he got upset.
Gold thought back to the previous day's afternoon. He couldn't remember everything he had said, or for that matter, how Marina and Jinichi had reacted to it. As he concentrated harder, a different memory came back to him from their very first day together. The three of them were in the shuttle van, en route to Professor Elm's lab. Gold had begun to babble about quitting his journey, and Jinichi's reaction was one of abject horror. The other trainer was quick to remind Gold of the sheer amount of work that went into every league application to qualify for an official membership over all the other applicants. Letting go, after already making it this far, was simply unthinkable to Jinichi.